Where's Matt?
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear me, and very shortly you'll be able to hear. Is it first? Was Edwards on for the first week? I forget. Anyway, we've got co-commentator tonight, and it's none other than the legend, Mr. Steve Wright. Good evening, Steve, and welcome.
Evening, mate. You all right?
All good here. All good. Great to have you on. Scheduled for last week, but you can't always plan for everything that's going to happen. So delighted that you're able to join us this evening. And yeah, let's get started. I can see that there are a bunch of people in the chat already. If I can figure out, apologies for the lack of streamer expertise. My goodness, it's a full, not a full house, but there's plenty of people here. Alex, Smarts, Ross, Mr. Campbell, Steve is here as well. I don't know if it's working. You're working, Steve. Maybe stop. Anyway, we might have an absentee this evening. Mr. Ian Edwards might not be able to make it, which would be, I don't know, the second time in about 6 years that he has made a stream. This means he's really quiet. He might be. I can try to shout, but
Um, no, I don't. You're not quite. You're coming through a little bit glitchy on my end, mate. But I don't think it's me because I've got new internet. That's supposedly good, but
right. Um,
could be me.
we'll just try and have to live with it, unfortunately. The only alternative I have is the robot microphone, which I don't think we want to go down that route again. So I'll try and shout as loud as I can, and hopefully it'll all go well. Um,
Cool.
so is it that? Is it like unbearably bad?
No, I remember doing one with you last season, mate. And for some reason on my end, you just seem really fast when your things coming through to me. But
Uh,
I mean, I don't know what people can hear me like. If people can hear me all right, I don't know. But I I did all right with it last year anyway. I'll just roll with it, mate. We'll get it done.
all right, I'm basically silent, so that's always something. But yeah, let's
I mean, to be
continue.
fair, I don't think he's talking about how much you can hear me. He's just saying I'm pristine and as a person, as a man, as a beautiful man.
Well, you never know. You never know. I think, indeed, I know why. Just give me a second. Uh, this would have turned up the volume on me, I guess. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. If it if it starts to go funny, let me know. But we'll try and run with this. Right. I see emojis in the chat. I don't know. Can you still hear me okay, Steve? Is it okay or not at all?
Yeah, like you come through a bit fast. I can pick it up, so it's all good. Did it last season.
I'm not gonna bring back the doc. I have some streaming problems. I thought, to be honest, I thought I was using the internal microphone, but it seems that I'm not. And my headset mic was on top of my head, so that's why you couldn't hear me. But anyway, never mind. We'll crack on with this, and if it screws up, then just let me know, and we'll think of something else. Anyway, I should put the actual screen on for the people on YouTube so you can see as well. Game week 5, Steve, what do you make of the start to the season? Mixed bag for yourself, 2-2, 2 wins and 2 losses. A little bit unfortunate, perhaps,
Yeah,
against Bern.
But it seems that I'm not.
I mean, I've just quickly turned mine up. I can hear you coming through clearly on my phone. Yeah, we've been a bit a couple of good wins. We deserve to win. Now we've been a great competitive champ player of scoring a lot of goals, or if I played network saves, I've never been able to score loads of goals against likes of Dimble, etc. Um, just plowed through. But do you know it's we we changed the team up quite a bit. I don't think it helped last time out that both our AMCs, where Collins had 3 goals in three, and Nicky Ferenko had a goal and assist in three as well. So you got 6 games between two AMCs. They've had 5 contributions, which is it's massive. And if you lose that straight away, you're fighting a losing battle regardless of how well it seemed we played. But yeah, it's there's plenty of positives there, and I think just trying to trying to get some out of Nedved because I've never had him. I've never been able to get out of him or his regen on home save. But you just one of them. You delve in from time to time for these players and think you can get something out of them. And but at least Nicky Franco's back tonight. So Franco tested really well at times. He came in and scored loads of goals and assists. He's a player I do really like. I think he's quite underrated in fairness in world of Super League, etc. But yeah, not disheartened by how we started. I'm not or anything, but when you look above us, like Aggies conceded 2 in 4 is massive, and Dimble started season like an house on fire yet again. Personally, they've only played 3 games so far. I really take me off to Steve. We're taking over at Vikings. I think you got. I know he's only played 3 games, but holding his own already as a new manager. Although he followed and saw what Paul did, seems like he's putting his own tweak on it and he's doing really well. Doing really well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's a it was kind of, they inherited that squad from Jens, and they obviously did very well in the last season that Jens was there. But and then I think Paul struggled early last season, but he's after he definitely came back into it, and maybe a little bit unlucky towards the end of last season. But then Steve has come in, and it's been a good start for them with just 3 games. And as for yourself, I mean, as you mentioned there, not the best, perhaps a little bit unlucky with that burn result, but it's a tough game it's a tough place to go, especially given the home form that they had last season. But they will.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems it's all in good in chat now, mate, as well on your side. So
Okay. Right. Well, in that case, we'll crack on. So, well, with that out of the way, we'll have a look at the fixtures that we've got coming up this evening. I'll try and keep an eye out for who's in the chat. Obviously, Scott, if you're there, you might as well put a movie on or something, because it'll be a while if you aren't last with Steve there. But
well, he did say we're going to be quite. He did say we're going to be quite limited in chat. He sent me a message to say if you see me in chat, can we play our game? More than
all
happy to
right.
go early, mate, and still see it all out
Yeah,
if
yeah.
he's
It's
here.
up. It's up to you. It's up to you if you wanna
Yeah,
go for it
let's go for it.
when he comes. But let's see who
Why
else
not?
we have. We have Smuts
Oh,
in the chat for sure. So I don't think was Scott there. I don't see him yet. But anyway, we'll see. We've got the Smuts for sure. Dimple. There's plenty of people in the chat, so we could start pretty much anywhere, I guess. Let's have
yeah.
a
If
look.
he's disappeared for now, mate, let's wait till he comes back for ours.
Okay, no worries. As always, if anyone is desperate to go late or early, then just pop it in the chat. I see Tato's not here yet at all, so but anyways, we've got people here. Of course, we've got Alex and Smuts are both here, so we can probably start with Stackington against Foss Road. That's a good matchup, I think, to to get us going for the evening. Stackington against Foss Road. Stackington. What do you make of what Alex? I mean, is he a little bit? Let's have a quick look at the league table. He's 12th after 4 games. Is that unlucky? I mean, I think he was it him who didn't start in Saki? Was that a thing? In one of the first games, he started the four. What do you make of Stackington and Alex? Do you think they can do a bit more this season compared to last season?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of see why he put Defoe in at the start of the season because I think he came in with limited options and did well at the back end of last season. But with the way this Inzaghi's been, you really should have been. You thought and a big. I don't know. There were 24 players going to Stackington and 18 going to Burn or whatever it was in that bloody transfer that it was. Um, Joe Cole, I'm not a fan of Joe Cole in that position, but I understand with the tactic he's got to play there ish. But it's one of them. Roxy's proving that like playing 5 across back. I remember I did a similar sort of thing once against Dimble, and I think I ever drew 0-0. I got a 1-0 win against him, got battered. I played 2-5, 1-1-1. So I
Hello, Super League managers. It seems that we are back online. I'm not sure how long it'll last, but let's keep our fingers crossed and try and speed this up a little bit. Apologies for the missed time. If you're all back, oh, I don't know if everyone dropped off. The stream should be back, so maybe I should tell people. I don't know. 2 seconds. I'll just pop a thing in there. I don't know. Do you have it up on YouTube in the background? Do you see if it's on there, Steve?
So look, I'm looking at the same thing I'm looking at now. We're just stacking it in squad.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if I change it to the Foss unicorns, and hopefully it'll change on YouTube as well. We'll see if that works. It's a bit of a delay, but it hopefully eventually it'll catch back up.
Oh, seems good. Looks golden now, lads. Yeah, there's people talking and seeming it's all good. So,
Okay, well, that's cool. That is cool.
and I can hear you properly now, rather than the rushed voices that were coming through as well. So,
Even better.
seems,
Even
seems
better.
very well.
Okay, cool. Well, we've got 3 people in the or a few people in the chat already. I don't know if anyone can type something. Is anyone typing in the chat? Because it might have frozen for
Yeah,
me.
I've seen, and it's live. I put a hello in. There's Smuts, Steve, Alex, Ian, Smuts, Tato's in. So,
Okay.
yeah, I see 8 on mine that I'm seeing. So, it's
Okay. Yeah. I see it here. Oh, if I change the live chat, it should be good. Working now. Looks golden now. Seems good. Okay. All right. Perfect. Apologies for this. I had some minor technical issues, but it looks like we're good. So we'll try and get through it in the next sort of little hour or so. So without further ado, there's only one change for Foss Road. I think Crespo is back in or something. Anyway, let's get through this. And Totti and Q will have swapped places. We'll speak about that in a second. We'll try and get it on underway. Alex and Smuts are both here, so it should be all good. Um, I'm not sure
them
why they
kids. them kids.
not sure who's in the change kit, why Road's in the change kit, but we'll kick off the first half and we'll see how it go, and we'll pick it up at halftime, Steve, and we'll have a bit of a chat. It's worked for Road to swap Kuhl. They put him centrally. I think Totti had been pushed out left after not really performing particularly well after joining. But yeah, it's difficult to tell, but I guess it's been pretty much all Road. Colors are a little bit tricky to follow here, and we approach halftime, and it's the old manager against his former apprentice, and Foss Road are leading 1-0. Foss Road had that first half under control, didn't they? I don't know if you could follow with the colours, Steve, but it looks as if they had it under control.
Yeah, I saw a fair lot of green on green, and I appreciate the putting Totti out there over in the All Stars. I did it. I've got Totti, and I did it for a while last season. He performed really well. So
Mm.
I think I find Harry Kuehl one of the players over it all. He'll have spikes of being very good, but I wouldn't put him anywhere near being a top level real good pick for this
Mhm.
sort of thing. Personally, I've had him in. I had him in this. I've had him in other stuff, and he's just not. Yeah, he peaks and troughs, and that's not because of who he is, etc. I'm talking about purely as a player on this game.
I was going to
But
say, surely that
it just,
there's
yeah,
a bit of a Leeds connection there, isn't there?
no, I'm talking purely champ manager.
No, yeah.
Who just he has far more troughs than peaks
Mhm.
in competitive champ. But no, fair play. He's gone and got him a goal and put him on head, and Totty's
Yeah.
still got a few bits to do.
Yeah, exactly. Stackington, meanwhile, I can see Alex is making some changes, Smuts as is. We'll just do a couple of changes here for Stackington. I think he wants to put Damien Duff on for Andre Oya, who is not the most um, attacking option that he had, and then he's swapping Duff and Finnan. I believe that's it. Um, I always stand by my FR away
Um,
colours, one
yeah.
of my personal
Would it would it
favorites.
would it putting up to uh,
Yeah,
uh
yeah, he's putting
yeah,
them, and I think with
saw
the
that.
same length arrows, I think. Yeah. So hopefully that'll work out for them in the second half. Yep, they have been pushed, Alex. Thanks. Good, good, good. Right, first 15 of the second half. We'll do it a little bit slower. We'll see how it goes. If that has an impact straight away. I think I can't remember how many times they've played each other, but it must be a couple of times by now anyway. I think Stackington got the better of them last time out, if memory serves me right. But sure, someone will remind me. It's been a decent enough start for Stackington here in the second half. It seems they've had at least a shot, um, which was probably what they had in the entire first half as well. There comes Totti though down the left. Difficult person to place on the pitch, Totti. We could maybe touch on that a little bit after the game, but someone that is always very popular, but doesn't really go down as one of the real legends of the game in terms of his performances. We reached the 60 mark, so we'll stop it here and just remind no, Stackington, that was a trick. You haven't had a shot on target. Apologies.
Nothing's happened at all.
Nothing really happened there. Steven Gerrard's up to a 9, and that's good. And this is how the Foss Road side are performing. Mike has just joined. All well thus far. I mean, it's the first game of the evening, Mike. I know we're 40 minutes in, but a couple of technical issues there, unfortunately. So you haven't missed much as is. Meanwhile, Stackington, they've got Morientes. That's kind of the only real attacking option, and he does go 2 up top. Morientes in for Rivaldo. I guess that's not a great shock to anyone. He's going to try and get a few more, at least a few more attempts on target here, I guess.
No, definitely. And Morientes had his time for Odgie at Ardsley, and going forward, every time Odgie's had him, he's been really, really good as
Yeah,
well.
and
I think he's quite underrated. I think he's quite underrated.
yeah, and I think his attributes are obviously decent. I mean, the high finishing, good off the ball as well, strength, stamina, good in the air. He does have the potential certainly in the numbers, but we'll see if anything happens in the second half for him. Obviously, that is someone who can potentially do something. Saviola for Foss Road there, going close, and there's Totti. Oh, Saviola had the ball at the back of the net, but it's ruled out for offside. Saviola really getting involved here in the second half. Kind of surprised to see his name popping up. That's someone who's kind of maybe someone has. Oh, there's Crespo. That surely settles it. Someone that people might have hopes for Saviola, but usually those hopes fizzle out sort of fairly quickly. He did a bit maybe at Fulchester at some point for Maka, but I don't really recall setting the world alight. Anyway, it finishes 2-0. It was all Foss Road in this one, to be fair. Stackington had a shot very, very early on, and that's it. That's all they had. Um, not great, not great from Stackington, but impressive from Foss Road, I think. It's fair
Yeah,
to say.
definitely. I mean, I've just looked at their spot saying his hoop is loose, and it's yeah, big result. They've got across the pitch when you're playing against a side that play Marvin Andrews, and no disrespect to Marvin Andrews, his attributes are always really well.
Future
Um,
man.
Saviola again is one of them. He's like Marmite. He won when we won the title. Him and Tony with Roy Mackay behind him were like
Hmm.
they were really really good, and he was assisting quite a lot for Tony. Um, yeah, he's got to play in a 2. He's got to play in a 2 for a start to
Hmm.
get I think anything out of him. But do you know what? On paper, this is the best team in the league. It's just whether they can continue that through season.
Hmm. 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 And Totti on a 7, as we touched. We'll not dwell too much on Totti, but yeah, it's never easy to get the stuff out of him. Stackington, another trip to the drawing board for them. Unfortunately, Marvin Andrews did get an 8, so did Viali. They have been performing okay, the two defensive players, but just in terms of getting the creativity out of the rest of the squad, and as you mentioned before, the technical issues there, that flat back 5 or a flat 5 across the DM line, it's tricky in the Super League to get that to function properly unless you're of
Yeah.
course Neil at the Rocks at the Rocks team. But yeah, it's something that Alex will have to consider obviously. But yeah, decent start to the evening, 2-0 Foss Road, and we'll see what we can move on with. I've not seen Scott, but I did see that. A bunch of other people are here, obviously. So, so let's have a quick look at the fixtures and see what we can. Oh, not of those fixtures, of these fixtures, and see what we can pick. Um, Mr. Edwards was hanging around. We have got Northern Burn up against East Coast. Dimple was here earlier as well. So perhaps we pick this one.
Yeah.
That's a crowd pleaser to see Northern Burn in action. Um, a repeat, and it gives us a chance to talk a little bit about the final and how last season finished, with Northern Burn having those 3 games in a row against East Coast and ultimately failing in the final. Ndiaye being dropped to the bench, I think was it Ndiaye who was kind of surprisingly dropped to the bench. Obviously, a big talking point there. What did you make of the end to last season?
Yeah, I think obviously there's certain decisions that people maybe make at certain times. Again, I genuinely think still what won me were that devil side that Odiad that I beat were fantastic, but the fact that he played Tom Makoko in centre midfield when he had far better options, probably contributed to it a little bit, even though I would only played one MC myself.
Mm,
I like to think it won that, but obviously a narrative goes, doesn't it? So, but yeah, two great sides. But the way Burn are looking, to be fair, if we'd have got a result against them, been on 1 point after 4 games is very much B-Tech form for Edwards, and I mean that with no disrespect, um, but you still can't see past 4 from 4 going against a side winning once all season and not getting a result, either a draw or a win. Can you? I
yeah.
can't see a Burn win
We'll
personally.
see. We'll see. They obviously held out for the win last time out, or last round, but we'll see how it goes. See how it goes this evening. First 45 coming up. Northern Burn against East Coast. They'll be delighted to have Sol Campbell back at central defence. Northern Burn, but they'll be hoping to get some goals as well. They've dropped Michael Owen and Pentas come in. I think Ian said he was going to give him 3 or 4 games at the start of the season, Owen, to kind of prove himself a little bit, and they've done a striker swap for this one. Maybe uh, not the easiest game to come in. You say to someone, "Oh, here's your first start of the season. Who are we playing? Oh, reigning champions. Ah, easy, no problem." But we'll see how it goes. It's been a tight affair so far. Maybe 1 or 2 chances going in the extra chances in the favor of East Coast. I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, as mentioned, just 1 or 2 more shots for East Coast, but Northern Burn holding firm, reminiscent of last week and the performance there. What do you think? Both managers are not really keen on changes at 45 minutes. Do you think anyone's gonna blink or do anything here?
No, probably not. Probably not. Obviously, Dimble's in that first half have obviously dominated that a little bit, and the ratings, even though they've been that good, are not showing that they've been that much better. Ian never blinks anyway. Um, yeah, I can definitely see a go to 60 and then maybe a couple of changes.
Mm-hmm.
But
What do you make of Barry Ferguson? Just briefly, he's on a 5. I think he kind of arrived at Northern Burn. Ian's keen to try and get something out of him, but hasn't happened so far. I have got instructions for him, by the way. Oh, he says as is. That's fine. We can run till 60 while you talk us through Barry Ferguson and your opinion on him.
personally, again, I think certain players have certain spikes, like Inzaghi has at this time. That season or that iteration where Fifey won it with Devils, he
Hmm.
playing Ferguson with that DMC with an arrow. I
True.
think he peaked a bit much, and I don't think he's as good away from a home save as people may value him. That's just my opinion.
Well, definitely, I remember that Devils side. He did well with the arrow there, but yeah, apart from that, but it's maybe something that Ian's looking at as well. I mean, he did with Zidane last season. He wanted to try and get a tune out of some of the less sort of favored big names in the league. There was some discussion about as well about the biggest name never to have reached the final and all this. So yeah, but we will see. Not a lot happened. I think East Coast had one chance leading to Rams on an 8. Everyone else sort of plodding along, just hoping for the best. We'll possibly see Castroman, maybe even Fernando Torres, but we'll see what Dimple says. Meanwhile, just
I
quickly
hope,
bring up there. Dimple says
I'm
roll.
I'm nobody to talk about somebody who's won three stars. Ian,
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
stars. this whole fitting players in just because the big names fitting in when he's had people like playing out of the skin who were probably at times wouldn't get in. It's like he's fitting big names in for the sake of it. This all one arrow from a midfield, no arrow on an AMC, just because. Just I just feel like he needs to play his formation and let the players do it. Don't worry about the players you're putting in. Let them fit your formation because I do think they'd be better if he went back to his own and then
Mhm.
see what it was.
And
But
just cross his fingers.
who am
That's
who am I to argue with a three-time star winner?
well, you're a couple of stars behind, but but yeah, I know, but a legend of the league nonetheless, and with unrivaled sort of memory of results and player performances. So maybe there's something about it. But we'll play the last 30 and we'll see if Northern Burn can. Ooh, Impensa there could have perhaps opened the scoring, but instead it's all Campbell with an own goal, and it's all gone a little bit not great for Northern Burn the start of the season. This is going to be their second, what, third defeat. It's not something that the manager would have been predicting at the start of the season. Obviously, Burn usually there or thereabouts, at least in the last couple of seasons, but it looks as if it's all gone a little bit Pete Pong so far. It stays at East Coast win 1-0. And East Coast, of course, had the by far the better of this game. Without being particularly impressive themselves. Sol Campbell obviously
Awful.
scoring the goal, but that's 5 wins in 5 for East Coast. That's kind of unstoppable form, really, isn't it?
Right, if you've won 1-0 away against one of the on paper probably like I say that you've got Smuts' team and you've got Burn, the two best on paper sides. Um, you've gone there, done that with them ratings. I mean, you're laughing all the way to the bank. I think it's more concerning for Ian than it is for
Mm.
Dimble. If it's
Yeah. I mean, not a super performance from Northern Burnsall Campbell. Obviously unlucky to get the own goal. Hippier gets man of the match for his sort of defensive display. But going forward, there's like not a single key pass between Barry Ferguson, Patrick Vieira, Verong, and Pence has had 3 shots, two on target. No one else has had an attempt, which is maybe good, but he hasn't scored. It's I mean, it's not drawing board time, but maybe he'll consider removing those arrows. We'll have to see. But it must be a little bit. Has a lot of games he's played against East Coast recently, and they've not all gone particularly well. Ferguson,
no, but you
Verong,
might
and
say,
Aymar says Tato says Ferguson, Verong, and Aymar is all all myths apparently. I don't know where you stand on that.
yeah, yeah, but Veron definitely. Um, I've had him at White Rose with that little interim before it finished. The thing with AMR is, I go back to and I like I say, I love the Super League and this little crossover. I had AMR in the ASL and I played him at AMC with an arrow up and he scored 5 goals and 5 assists in 16 games. That AMR again, that were that Devils with
Mhm,
Fife
mhm,
and an Odgie, or the Odgie version of AMR in AMC were fantastic. He can't play in centre midfield if you look in the editor. His
mhm,
stats do not let him play in the editor there. But yeah, it's tough one because he's got Galactico side.
mhm,
He might have gone to Galactico going back for Contra where Emerton was so good for him. Do you know what I
mhm.
mean? Silly things like that where is has he lost a bit of cohesion by going for Galacticos?
Uh, Time will tell. Time will tell, definitely. But yeah, it's an assembly of big names, and he obviously has the big names in there, which makes the transfer window easy because he's smart and he swaps them with other big players. It's not like he dilutes the quality, so we will always see big names in there. It's just about whether he can kind of get them to gel. But let's move on. I can see that Mr. Haggis is here as well. So perhaps we go with Haggis against Stanley because Mike was here as well. So I think that would be an obvious choice. Let's see if we go with Mike here. A couple of minor changes personnel wise and the formation. The two wingers are away. and the kind of fullback midfielder overlapping each other, and they've gone to a formation which I think, if I'm not mistaken, and this is maybe before you joined, I think that Andreas played this formation with Valen United in the first two seasons. I think it was this one. Someone who was there at the time can maybe correct me, but it looks like it anyway.
Yeah, it were before I joined, but then we had the whole thing of the pineapple, the Andres pineapple, which is
Right.
it's like stuff of legends. But yeah, I mean, we've had conversations between a few of us about formations that have and haven't worked. To be fair, before I settled on when we ended up winning it, I played a narrow similar to Scott plays, but it was
Mm,
a 2-3-1-3-1. But had I was playing Finn and Zanetti for a spell in
mhm.
them positions, and they did very well, even though it's not the positions. I think it's a good change for Mike because obviously he was playing forward at back. He was trying to. I love anybody for trying what Mike were trying, but it's just hard, isn't it? When you play
Mm,
formations that will do well against other
yeah.
formations, you might have the odd spike. I mean, we played a stupid thing with games gone of um African nations, and Mike played a 4-4-2 against Dimble and smashed him 4-0 with a stupid 4-4-2.
No
It can
way.
happen, but it's never going to be consistent. It's never going to be
No.
consistent. So get something like this would be consistent with a bit of a settled team. So get somebody to be consistent, and I love Mike Spix as well. So be
Yeah. I
interested
mean,
to see how this goes.
it's great to have them in the league. I mean, to have people who kind of stick to their guns, and I saw the questions like, "Oh, have you tested this in a home save?" And it's like, "Tested? What the fuck are you talking about?" I can respect that people like proper role play than just go testing on home saves. Are you kidding me? No, I'm just gonna, throw it at the wall and see what sticks. You gotta take your hat off for that. And obviously, if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, then you go again next week. It's all good, It's
Yeah,
you can be in here for a laugh as well. So that's good. On the 4-4-2, I will say that if you put arrows to the ML and MR up to the middle line, you can play it, but unless you do that, then no, the short arrows is not enough for them. They need the long arrows, and then they die on stamina, and it's not
yeah,
better than playing them at DM anyway. So there's really no point. But that's maybe a discussion for another day. They're up against the Haggis anyway, and I think there was just one change for them. He struggled a little bit at AMC this time out, and Casas is tired, so he's brought in Cruz instead of Figo, who quickly fell out of favor. I think Figo probably another one that can be talked about for a while. He just looks as if he has the numbers, but rarely does the business. But apart from that, Haggis have had good start to the season. Obviously, solid at the back there. Cannavaro, Samuel, Titsatse, Jeremies, who went in, and that's Walker, Del Vecchio, and Petkov. They have got very very solid defensive players, and it's going to be difficult for Stanley. But do you think that Mike can get something from this one with the new formation? They are at home.
yeah. I think if you're at home, if you've got somebody like Samau who's been pretty good for Agis, um, but it's going to be peaks and troughs for him. I genuinely think he's got a chance of getting a result, but they have been strong of Agis as well.
Mm.
Casas again, a couple of saves that I played through were fantastic for Agis, so it'd be a bit of a loss for him. I know he's a bit of a Agis legend, but yeah, I don't know. I see a draw here, mate.
We'll see a draw. Well, we'll see if it will be a draw. We've had that's an early goal for Nicolas Anelka. Manager will be pleased with that. He's obviously insisting on playing him. He's another one. He's who looks like he's trying to get something out of a specific player. And there is Anelka on the score sheet. Montella makes it two. Stanley's Pineapple. It's going to take a couple of games to settle in, perhaps, but it looks as if Haggis has got this one under control. Certainly, the first half, it's been all of the away side. That's the third game and the third time, and the away side is sort of in control there.
Yeah, I'm hoping Scott doesn't turn up anytime soon because the more the away sides keep doing this until Scott turns up, there's got to be an open at some point.
Yeah. And Nelke even with an assist and Cruz getting an assist as well. Both managers say they roll until 60, which is of course fine. Just having a quick look, Rossini only getting a 5 there. I think overall there's some decent quality in that Stanley side, but maybe a little bit light up top. I mean, Rossini playing Ronaldo up front. I know that Rossini has got like one of the best scoring records, not overall, but in a single season. But um, and Nonato as well. I mean,
If,
I,
for
I don't
me,
know.
if you're looking at, you've got two very good centre backs at this level. You've got two very good wing backs. You've got Rossini who can score. There is potential for a good side in there, but
Mhm.
Mike likes to not follow the curve, which I like. I like to don't need to. And then obviously Nicky Butt in there as well, one of the best DMCs in the league.
Mhm,
So
mhm. Yeah, and there is Rossini, but he hits the side netting. You can keep the torch with my blessing, says Alf in the narrow discussion there. Dede is definitely someone who can play in that because Candela does it very, very well, and Dede is very similar to him. So Dede can definitely play that particular role that he's put him in. That DMC with the arrow should be possible for sure. But it looks as if they've had the better of the second half. Stanley, they've definitely come back
right.
into it with plenty of chances in the first 15 minutes. So that'll be pleasing for Mike, even if the start of the game wasn't. Haggis is all eights and sevens. I doubt very much that Campbell's going to do anything, but we'll wait and see, obviously. And Mike, he still got Rossini on a 5. You think he'll be tempted to bring on Nonato? I'm not sure that's going to help, but it's 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 his option. If you look at the bench, that's probably the only real option.
Yeah, but he's looked to be involved, hasn't he? Or Deisler. Oh,
Deisler as well,
Deisler
yeah.
and pulling back. I don't know.
Yeah, Campbell says he's going to roll. He's obviously got. There's the option. Has Does back play up front? Is that even a possible? Is that even possible? Can you play him up front, or he's better in that role with the arrow? What do you think?
Um, yes, he's got 20 for sort of MC AMC striker. Um, yeah, he's got to be an AMC, but I hate Ronaldo in AMC as well. He's not an AMC, he's a striker, but then he's not a very good one at this level, personally for me anyway. Um,
He's bringing on Nonato for Rossini, and that's it. So we'll see how that goes until whole time, and we'll have a bit more of an analytical chat about what has happened here. But let's first of all see if Stanley can get a goal back, and then maybe push on from there. But it looks as if it's Haggis back in control, and there is Montella, Westerveld, who has been a bit of a cheat keeper in terms of like quality. He's done very well, but it doesn't look as if he's having the best season at Stanley. Stanley, who's got one back through Semak, um, and still creating plenty of chances. Actually, Salihamidzic should have scored. Nonato had a big chance there as well. But it stays 3-1 to the Haggis. Although, to be fair to Stanley, they really came back into this one, didn't they?
yeah, I had 10 shots for 8 on goal and lost by 1 goal last game, so it's frustrating. I think considering looking at the ratings, um, I think they've done really well. They're selling something in that formation with the players, and I'm a massive Sega Semak fan. I like him as a player personally. Maybe not as a regular player in a league like this, but he's very good. But yeah, there's plenty of positive there for Mike, regardless of the result. You can't be being the better side on the on stats and losing 3-1. It's just hard to take. It just happens. It happens regularly, doesn't it? So
Yeah, it certainly does. And a solid performance for the Haggis keeper there. He picks up a 9, of course, and Elka 8 with an assist and a goal, and Montella man of the match with 2 goals. Montella, another one of those. I did that little kind of quiz thing, just looking at some old finals or the spreadsheet that has the information in it. Montella, one of the few players who's been at least in the squad of 6 finals. I think he only played in 5, one of them as a substitute. But him and Inzaghi, along with Casillas and Zanetti, the guys who've been in the most finals, 6 of them each. So, but yeah, 2 goals for him for Haggis, and they continue their great start to the season. and we will continue the show. Vikings against Sancte. They were
Ross
Paul
was here.
Paul
They were,
Paul
they
and
were
Stu
both here.
definitely here. Yeah, I think we've seen everyone at some point this evening. Ross perhaps here as well. So we'll roll with this one. Sancte, another club with a very strong squad. They go with this kind of formation with a very strong squad, but they've not really gotten the most out of it. Lots of
Looks it that looks better though, Martin, than what
yeah.
he's played with them. Again, I understand Ross's tweet. Probably playing Kivu over Christian Val, but that's a stronger side than he's put out all season, in my opinion.
Well, he'll be hoping for some points on the board as well. It's not been a great start for Sancte. They're down in 14th, unfortunately. Still to register a win or even a draw, but we'll see if something can happen for them this evening. They have got quality, plenty of good players in there. Probably just a case of getting it to gel. Meanwhile, the Vikings, a couple of changes. I think Terry comes in for Yepes, I think it was, and Shevchenko is back in the starting 11 next to Kluivert. Let me just double check if I've got these boys the right way around. Um, let's have a look. Shevchenko on the left. Indeed, I do. So yeah, so that's how the Vikings line up this evening. We already spoke about Vikings earlier in the show, so I won't dwell too much on that. But of course, wish both managers luck and see how it goes for them. So the Viking takes on Sancte. Do you think, just before we kick it off, do you think Sancte can get something here? Is it a bridge too far for them? Will they have to wait for a home game? I mean, it's a tough start to the season. I don't want to discourage Ross, obviously, but it's going to be tricky to get all three here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Ross has been a little bit Mike. He's tried a couple of outlandish formations which can catch somebody on the up, but can't really see past Vikings here. But I don't care. I don't know his ratings, but when you're looking at this centre halves and Marco Liano's just sat there not playing, I think he can be very flaky, but not as flaky as some of the centre halves have got. I was backing a Vikings be one goal though.
Well, maybe there is something to be said for the I think the older centre backs. I can't remember, but there is a YouTube video out there about how central defenders, when they get to age 28 or something, they get like plus, I don't know, something hidden in the machine, something extra to their attributes or something like that. So, but anyway, we'll pick up such topics another time, and we'll try and get the Vikings and Sancti on the way here and see if Vikings by one will be the result. They'll have to come up with two goals if they're going to win by one, because it's Mark Kerr who's opening the scoring for the visitors. Manager will be delighted at the sight of that and hoping that they can keep it like this at least until half time. Um, Van Bommel doing his best for Vikings there, the captain, trying to get them back into it. Hersey in that AMC role came in for whoever it was that was playing there before, Del Vecchio perhaps, and trying to do something for the Vikings. There is Van Bommel again, Kluivert trying to get a shot away, but it stays 1-0. It's fairly even, I thought, a little bit more in Vikings' favour, certainly in the last part of the first half, but Sancte are 1-0 up. What do you make of that?
Yeah, you can see why it's a solid formation with him. Matt Kerr, isn't that see Matt Kerr doing bits in a league that he don't overly do, but it's average in it again. So if you're winning at half time, you're away from home, and you're average, you still always have this little thing of if we just step it up in the second half a little bit,
Yeah,
we could
Rick
still.
Hellman just gets an assist or something. Russ says as is, unsurprisingly, we'll let Steve.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Rio Ferdinand on a four. That's not what you want to see. How is he on a four? He's got almost 100% completed passes and 3 out of 4 tackles won. He must have done something terribly wrong over here. Not really. Anyway, he's on a four. John Terry's on a five. That's just how it is. We'll see if Steve will do anything. That's that's not what you want to see, is it really? I mean, a four.
No,
Harsh, perhaps.
yeah, very looking at them, Martin, very very harsh, but
we'll see if one of the oh, Steve is here. Okay, I was going to say Steve said that if he wasn't able to make this subs, then Paul could do it. But he says roll until 60,
He's
so
not.
that's what we're going to do.
He's not even been booked. That's like
Was he at fault for the goal? Asks Alf. Potentially, potentially, it could have been. Mark Kerr getting involved here early on in the second half. Saw his name come up once or twice, but it looks as if it's going to be very slow up until 60. But just as I say that, heading towards the goal. But Oliver Kahn, I think he's got another season in him, or two even. Oliver Kahn. There's perhaps no need to bring in Kirkland just yet, but who knows? We'll see. Could all be about to change, but that was another good save from him. It seems as if uh, Vikings have had the better of the start of the second half. Indeed, they have had 6 shots, 3 of them on target. They're well on their way back into this, as they were in last week's game against East Coast, but they'd let East Coast get a little bit too far in front. And here they haven't actually scored yet, and we're on 66 before it stopped. Still looking sort of solid-ish for Sancte. Riquelme is on a 6, Keeper's on an 8, everyone else on 7s. You think Ross is going to do anything here? He's got Smerton on the bench, maybe to shore things up a bit, but no one's really
I mean,
underperforming.
no, I wouldn't really. I just think I'd probably put Ortega on for Kern and swap him with Bowie. Me, I think that'd make you 11 stronger, but that's just me
He does a
talking out
straight
there.
swap. He does a straight swap. Riquelme for Ortega.
Yeah,
Um,
but first scored a goal. Bowie, as much as he can play on right, he's not a rider. He's not half centre. He's another plodder with loads of good ratings at this level. But
Oh, I love the honesty. I love the honesty because that's sometimes how I feel about it. You know, when some of the managers they have their favorite players and you go, oh yeah, 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 oh, he's good, he's good, oh yeah, he's always decent, and you go in and you look at it and he's got like a 7.7 average and he has like 1 assist and 2 yellow cards in
yeah,
an entire season, and you're like, nah, yeah, but do they change anything for you? But we will see.
no. And the strange thing is, you look at somebody like Thomas Schmuck,
Mhm.
like who and got he's probably got what 20th at 20s. He's got I know he's got 20s in place, but he's got loads of 20s. And who would you if you could pick a player to play in a formation? Would you pick Bowie in a minute, or would you pick Schmuck? You did take Schmuck because of how well he's doing, and
You
it's crazy.
Yeah, you take the guy that pops up occasionally and does something and can potentially win you games. But we'll see if Steve and Paul are cooking up a cocktail here of some potential changes. Meanwhile, um, Alf and Dan have gone into a conversation around a potential. I hope that England don't steal him. I guess, or Nigeria. I guess he can play for whoever he wants really. But I think that Obi chap they're talking about is the one that the United picked up on a free from Arsenal. I think he's only 17 or something. I think he's played a couple of games
Ah, okay.
for the Danish under whatever's, but he's very very good apparently.
Well,
So
looking at that side, there's nothing they could bring off the bench, regardless of John Terry's 5, that could improve that.
yeah, well we'll
I
see
mean,
what the
Rio's gone to a 7 from a 4, so that's all right. There's nothing
that,
you can improve. You can't improve that. You cannot improve that without on bench, in my opinion.
didn't Elmander feature occasionally for the Devils, or perhaps not in their title winning season, but I know that Fife thinks the world of him, so so
Yeah, he
maybe.
does.
And Pat Soglu has done bits in the Super League as well before from that DMC role, but I see your point. There's not any sort of
Yeah, well,
obvious
he
changes here.
he were a massive cog in MC for Odge's Leathersford side that were very good.
Yeah,
And then he massively performed. And then again, he was another one of Odge's sides, which I could understand with Leathersford because they want the Devil's side. They tailed off later on, but yeah,
mm,
in CM for Leathersford, he were unbelievable.
yeah, I did an amazing job there a little bit. Remind me a bit of that Charlie Chaos that Neil's got going on, kind of like bit of an unsung hero, but pretty unbeatable there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Steve or Paul are still here, but we're probably gonna have to roll in the
Yeah.
interest of time. I've not seen an update from either of
Jeez.
them.
I apologise to Stephen Paul, but yeah, I'd like
Right.
to.
Let's. Power it
Oh,
off. Lopez on there. There it is. Excellent. Okay. Three up top. There we go. Executive decision made by the former and current chief of staff there, Mr. Teffers. Well done. I was gonna say Paul was always someone who did stuff. So yeah, let's get.
Central. I'm just looking at him saying Central DMs. Does he mean Everton and Arca? Because
Yeah, that's gonna be wild. Let's try and do it. Power off. Uh, Lopez on, three up top, and I
right.
think he wants them in here.
So when I say my memory is
Huh?
is silly with stuff. That formation is what Jens plays in his first ever game after
Yeah.
taking over from from
From
uh,
Thiago.
hooligans from Thiago, and yeah,
It didn't go
he
well.
played a 2-2-2-1-3. Yeah, he soon learned.
Well, we'll see how it goes. It might work for them. It might work for them, and we'll see. It's the 2-2-2-1-3, and yeah, the rarely seen. Sorry, Arca and M as they were. Okay. Well.
Central DMs, so no DMC.
Uh-huh. Central
Well, I
DMs.
mean, well, you're losing now. You go for it.
Okay,
It's
were they long or short arrows? I forgot already.
long. They were long, I
Right,
think.
possibly. We'll see. That's how we play. That's how we play the last 24. Uh, it might work out for them. There's Van Bommel. There's the first one. Will they get a second? That's remains to be seen, but they're definitely creating chances with those three strikers. Will it leave a gap at the back for a counter punch? No, it doesn't. At least they managed to rescue a draw, so good news for
Yeah.
Vikings. Also good news for Ross as that gets Sancte off the maybe not off the bottom, but they certainly gets them a point, which they didn't have before. So that's good news for them. Um, that kind of took up the time, I will say, on that particular game. We have got another couple to get through here, so we'll crack on with this. Tato was kind of asking, and Alf is here as well, so we'll try and get this one done. Badgers, yeah, they they've got their injuries. Giggs is out again. Zigalko is out again. Stam is now suspended. It's not always easy being the Badgers manager, but Tato seems to be enjoying the challenge anyway. Had a good push towards the end of last season and made a good show of themselves, finishing I guess third technically. Up against Sloths, who've had a change of fortunes as they ditch their previous formation. We'll see how they go tonight. I believe they are unchanged. He says usual 3-0 away defeat incoming for Sloths. What do you think of Sloths' chances? Alpha's abandoned the narrow about time, or should he have stuck with it, or what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he should have stuck with it. I think he had a little bit of a push last season that could have got him in the playoffs. I think it's the players that he's got, sometimes personally, and again, it's my opinion, not what Al's opinion is. There could have been other players playing in positions that he did. But I just genuinely think with a team that's got a couple of injury doubts, an home win here sees Tate all right and get a couple of players back.
Well, we shall see. Chicago, obviously, he's still hoping for big things from him, but he has got some of his favorites hanging about in the supporting roles. But let's see how it goes as Badgers take on Sloths for all the marbles in this one anyway. Brugink, who I always thought is thought of as a Sloths player, I think Ivy perhaps had him at some point as well, but I always root sort of silently for Arnold Brugink to do something for Sloths. I do like to see him getting involved. But it's Sosa opening the scoring for Badgers, getting a chance obviously now with Sigalko out. They've done a bit of a tactical tweak, and he's running there. Ledev, I have no idea. Are you
No,
familiar with him?
Yeah, Lednev, yeah, Dragons legend or whatever he was. They brought him in our league. It's just Wooder had a thing for him. Duggan's got a thing for him. Taylor
Yeah.
said that he's got. He's tested him loads and he's been really good this season in his all tests. And, but yeah, that's not what you want to see from.
Mm, no, that's not really gone particularly well. Probably Alf is possibly going to roll. I mean, he's got Rosicky, who I know he likes on the bench, and Eldar as well, who's Valgarin can come in at DC, but I'm not sure if he's really
Yeah.
needed. Um, in terms of fitness, you're all good, Alf. Meanwhile, we'll have a look at the badges. They've done a little bit better. There was an assist for Raya. That'll please his manager no end. I know he's a big fan. I think was it last when did Rayad come on and have like 3 assists in his debut, and then we never heard from him again. But yeah, he's someone that the manager rates anyway. Tato says Maxim won't get back in at this rate. It's Sosa again, Asil till 60. Salah's on his way at 60.
Yeah, I
Salah's
mean, if Sal sent the shot, Maxim's getting in. That's that, that's fact. So, but yeah,
yeah.
it's steady from him, and I just genuinely think they're better man for man. So
Yeah, and Badgers, of course, it's. I mean, it's the squad is kind of what it is. Yeah, some people might rate it, some people might not. Oh, sorry, that was 60 minutes. Nothing happened at all. Apologies for that. We'll see. There's a chance. Great tackle from Woodgate. Apologies for that to both managers. I kind of missed that because nothing was happening.
I mean, we say nothing happened, as you said. Oh, he clicked it. Scully put the ball over to Lednev. That would have been the end of your
Yeah,
road.
yeah. Well, it was good job that you didn't. Yeah, no, as I was saying, it might not be everyone's first 11, the Badgers side, but Tato's obviously gotten stuff out of them, managed to get a star, and yeah, overall done pretty well with that particular side, with some very established names and one or two lesser, not lesser known, but less frequently used players. Let's call it that. Um, this is how slots are looking at 63 minutes. Manager's going to be thinking something, I think. The problem is Rosicky for Dhoni. I guess that kind of makes sense somewhere, perhaps. Um, is he? He's either footed, I guess. He's got that going for him, and he hasn't been too bad. A couple of managers. You've touched upon it this as well this evening, with Vikings as well. When you look at the bench, there isn't really anything that you initially are going to say, this
No.
is really going to improve the squad. Is that the similar situation for Sloths here with these three that they have at their disposal? And maybe,
Yeah, massively. Just again, it's all about opinion, but yeah, and I don't think Bar. I mean, Keen is start well Lednev every day a week for me, but
mm,
he's not good, is it? So it's worth putting a random in there to try and do it.
Salas is going off for Booth Town, and then we'll see how that goes up until the end of this one. 30 minutes left to play. Um, 24 now. Amoruso getting involved and Elba getting involved, and there is a penalty. It will be a goal scored for Mendieta, his first ball the Sloths. Badgers lucky not to get a man sent off, obviously, and Sloths will be hoping to capitalize on this one. Can the abandoning of the narrow formation secure them a second win on the trot? They've had plenty of chances, and there is Brooking.
Oh,
I did mention him earlier. Big favorite of mine, secretly, obviously, and Amoroso seals the deal. Badgers are being completely overrun here in the last
oh my!
whatever minutes. Um, Alf usually claims that his teams run out of steam and they concede late, but it's been the other way around. So congratulations, Alf, on this one. You completely owned that second half, and let's see the stats. Um, yeah, Mendieta played well. Amoroso, he was waiting for him to come back. I think he was injured for the first couple of games. I think Alf has really high hope for him. I'm not sure if anyone else ever had high hopes for Amoroso, but he's done well, to be fair. Um, yeah, um, good result. Elba, 1 assist, 1 shot, one on target. That's a good game for the Sloths there, and that's 2 wins on the trot for them. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, half time at 1-0. it didn't seem like that was going to happen. But yeah, a little bit flabbergasted by flabbergasted by
That's
just,
okay. Sometimes things leaves us speechless. That's okay. Francesco told us five, probably leave his manager speechless. But lucky to only get a yellow on the penalty. David's picking up a yellow card as well. And they just didn't seem to be able to maintain the pressure. Obviously, the Armand Fucini substitution for Salas didn't really have a big impact, but they'll be back, no doubt. Tato and the Badgers. We'll take Exiles against Fulchester. I've not seen Scott. Maybe he is around, but we'll do your game at the end. I've not seen Neil, but definitely Dan was here earlier. I
no.
can't
And
remember.
Scott said he won't make it on. So
All right, okay, no worries. Well, we'll do Exiles against Fulchester, and then we'll do the Dudley game last. So, let's have a quick look at the Fulchester side first of all. Um, Not a lot of changes, a little bit of swapping around of personnel in the middle. I think Danielson moves to the left, Beckham goes central with Song Yong Kook coming out on the right hand side. He had Beckham at DMR. I think he did get an assist from that in the last game, but I think he wants to be a little bit more sort of secure at the back. I think it was 4-3, was it? Yeah, 4-3 last time out against Stackington. So he's obviously hoping to have a little bit of a less of a defensive nightmare. Exiles. I don't think they made any changes. I can't for the life of me remember. Maybe Vincente comes onto the bench or something like that. Minor changes anyway for Exiles, who are off to a flying start. To be fair, I think they lost. Yeah, they lost 2-1 to Badgers last time out, but they've had a good start so far. We'll just go to the match screen, and I'll ask you about what do you think of the Exiles' chances this season. They were it looked as if they'd really picked up steam towards the end of the last season, and then they kind of fell off just going into the playoffs, and they kind of flattered to deceive a little bit, and obviously never made it any further. Do you think they can go on better this season?
yeah, I think he's got a setup with some players in it. They're just a massive underdog that could put pressure on the teams that perceive that might win it.
hmm
But
And and Fulchester with a change in formation, Dan had obviously stuck with that for a full season and a
yeah,
couple
he
of
was
games.
playing.
He's changed it up a bit now. You think that's going to help Fulchester potentially push for that top six?
Yeah, what he's looking now is more a Dan formation that he played at Gazelles from getting involved with you. I think he's got the players to play that, not play what he was playing. And he's a very capable player of the game as well. So yes, everybody is good enough to get in that six. It's just how the season pans out for you.
How the season pans out, yeah. And he managed to get something out of Danielson, which I think you got to take your hat off for that, to be honest, because
Massively.
I never saw that happening since I think I had Danielson with Rocket Sloth in season four, and ever since, and even before that, I wasn't impressed with him, and I wasn't impressed with him then, and I've not been since. But Dan likes him and seems to stick with him a bit like he does with Beckham. So, but we'll see. We'll kick this one off and see if Colchester can continue to pick up points, or if Exiles will get back to winning ways in this one. It's been 15 minutes so far, and a good few chances for both sides. And it's Christian Vieri, obviously, opening the scoring for Exiles. A very, very big name there. He does have his sort of slightly unfancied players, but he does have a big sort of fan favorite up front in Vieri, who's always good for a couple of goals or 10 over the course of a season, and he has opened the scoring for Exiles. Come up till half time, and Fulchester has not been without chances, but let's just see, that's Jagatos and Beckham. Um, I say they haven't been without chances. They actually have been without chances. Oh,
Yeah, I think it's
oh,
just a move on. I
so
mean, I think Dan's hovering. I don't think Rocks will be. And also
mm,
in terms of Vieira, we saw Vieira score 16 goals in about 4 games in a
mm,
season that shall not be remembered. Um, but yeah, he's not a player I would want at the head of my striking force from how I've been in Super League. But Rocks loves him, put his faith in him, he's been great. And
mm. Even even the non-enhanced version that we're seeing here has done relatively well. Dances Viduka for Pizarro, his patience is obviously run out of with Pizarro, who arrived with high hopes. He has got 2 assists, but I think after seeing the nine the 9 and 5, I think he was probably hoping for a little bit more this season. He has scored goals in the past, of course, for Los Santos as well, but he's not had a brilliant start to the season, which so I can't blame him for pulling him at half time. Neil has mentioned probably not around at this time, so we'll run until 60 and we'll see how it goes. Arrow on the Dealson as well, says Dan. We'll get that done for you too, mate. Dealson, by the way, 100% record, 3 finals, 3 wins. I think it
Good
was a
player.
Dealson. Wow.
Good player, underrated, very good player.
Yeah, definitely done things at that AMC role as well. I'm
Yeah,
trying to think.
AMCs are crap in the Super League. They're
Hmm.
always crap, and I think it's more your underrated ones that do better.
You can kind of come in and do something in that role. Maybe you expect less from them. Who knows? Although you have Nikiforenko and um, Collins, and they've both done well. 5th goal of the season for Vieri on 47 minutes, putting Exiles 2-0 up. And we'll see if Fulchester, they're going to have to find their shooting boots from the last time out, or from the last game, if they're going to find their way back into this one. Coming up to 60 just now. I think it was Maserati who got the winner for them last time out. We'll see if he can get involved. There's Danielson, Kalusny, etc., etc. We'll just let this one run. Amantidis doing well. Vieri past the last defender, but Frey saves. Vieri getting involved again. Big boy put himself about there. Difficult to stop him, but Frey in the goal has done well. He's already on the 10 with his 2 goals. Fulton had a shot here in the second half, but it's still Exiles looks to be in full control. Beckham is down on a 4. Dan says play on. He's not having any of this. Uh, and
Yeah,
yeah, looking at you get to this stage sometimes in games where you go, fuck it, just play till 90. Yeah.
yeah. I think my greatest ever fumingness of like streams dropping out were I was playing Dragons and I was beating them 2-1, and stream went down. I think it was when you and Ryan you and Ryan were sharing. I think it was your stream, and then you film it's sort of your OSB or OBS or whatever it was, recorded the rest of it. I'm winning 2-1. I always had a good result against Dragons, and then I lost 4-3. Crespo got that trick and the beaters. You posted well, fuming.
Oh, sometimes it's like that. You win some, you lose some, and it's always the big stories that get further enhanced by some kind of outside events as well. But it's Vieri on a hat trick here. He was kind of getting close to the top scorers position last season in Sagi. Obviously beat him to it, but looks as if he's trying to make amends or make up the ground this season with Inzaghi being at Stackington. He has got 3 so far, but I think Vieri could probably do a little bit better. And there's Viduka, probably sealing himself a starting role for next week, getting on the score sheet for Fulchester here as they pull one back. 3-1 though for Exiles. They keep shooting. Stop it. I was going to wrap it up there, but they kept having chances. Exiles looking very, very strong, back to winning ways after that defeat to Badgers, and they have, what is that, 4 wins from 5 now. So Neil will be delighted with that. Fulchester, it wasn't actually a bad performance. 4 shots, 5 shots, 4 on target away from home, and scoring a goal is not that bad. But when the
Yeah,
scoreline
that's
reads 3-1, then
crazy dominant from them.
and Beckham not enjoying his role in central midfield there. Probably preferred his right wing back as he had last time out. I even got an assist there. So
Probably
Fulchester need a few tall men in their team apparently.
it probably more warranted for than Barry Cousins. Who was that for earlier? Beckham's is probably
Uh-huh.
more warranted.
Yeah, I think was it Ferdinand that was on a 4 at
Yeah.
half time
Oh,
and then
yeah.
dropped to a
Yeah.
7 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Beckham's is probably more warranted, but he's
Yeah.
done. I mean, he's won 3 of 8 tackles, which for David Beckham, that's all right.
It's not bad, is it? So Viduka getting an 8 and scoring. I mean, that's definitely him starting next time out. I'm sure. Meanwhile, let's have a quick look at Exiles. Assist for Sir Roberto. He gets a 10. Raul gets an assist, and Charlie Chaos gets an assist. There's three players on a 10 in that formation. That's kind of not crazy, but you see four key passes for both Sir Roberto and for Mike Duff. Christian Vieri having three key passes on top of his three goals, on top of his seven shots, all on target. I mean, what are you going to do against that? To be fair to Dan, I mean, it wasn't a bad display from Colchester apart from Beckham. But when your opponents put up numbers like that, then it's a tough day at the office, to be honest.
I can't remember seeing 310s in one side in Super League. There probably has been, but
Mm,
as much as I remember, player
we don't have
ratings is
stats for that,
no. But
sadly.
310s in a game is it's unbelievable.
That's Rock will be pleased when he sees that result anyway. Um, without further ado, let's jump into the last game of the evening. It's your good self against Los Santos. Um, Los Santos needs to give this guy a squad number apparently, and he proceeds to the match. Yourself, this is how you line up. Nikiforenko's back in. David Collins is still injured. Franca gets that arrow. You said he tested quite well. Nedved, you're still hoping to get something out of it. How has he done, Nedved, so far?
Uh, yeah,
Not bad. That's not bad, has he?
yeah. Well, he's done all right out of 4 games, hasn't he? He's and without the way I played it, I don't like that in this level. I don't like that little diagonal arrow from CM. If you've got arrows on you, I mean, you've got you 10 players. You've got outfield. You've got 2, 4, 5. You got 5 of the 10 of them with arrows, but it's something I'm just going to stick with. Just let it run.
Hmm.
Happy to have Henri back up front um, because
Yeah.
I know he did well. He won a star at Burn playing an AMC all season because he's got 14 in there for Ed and he can do. But Vogel's come in, got a couple of eights in his first
Hmm.
games. Desai could be a little bit of a let down. But yeah, we were on about older. I remember earlier we were on about older defenders, 28 plus. The things start going. So that's hoping that Maldini at 36 plus can do a similar sort of
No,
thing.
I mean, no spring chicken. I mean, apart from his strength, which I'm not sure how super important that is, but I'll be trying to do some testing on that anyway. But he seems to have
It
done
looks
well,
good.
to be
It
completely
looks good,
honest.
doesn't it? It looks
Yeah,
good, but 6.5 out of 4 games is probably not the best. But Montero's been very good for us,
he's
not just this season. And when I got him off Ian for whatever deal it was, it was
mm,
no qualms that he were coming back. He wanted him back for this season. To be
yeah.
fair,
I mean, he started a sanctity apparently. Played one game and then you picked him up, sent him to Burn, and then got him back again.
oh
Not
right, yeah, well,
not sure what happened there.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
must be one times
That
when
back four could be in the medal hall over 40s, apparently, says Paul. We'll see.
that's what
Let's
I'm aiming
kick
for. That's
let's
what
kick
I'm
this
aiming
one off. Let's kick this one off and see if you can get 3 points against Los Santos. Scott will be watching from somewhere, no doubt, hoping that he can put up a good performance against you here. Roberto Carlos, who's had a decent start to the season as well, out on that left-hand side. 20 minutes played. You've not had it all your own way, to be honest. Los Santos have been there or thereabouts with a couple of good chances. There is Araujo, goal ruled out for offside. You'll be letting out a sigh of relief, is what I'm trying to say there. Carlos Shack's getting involved as well. They perhaps look slightly more dangerous, Los Santos, to be honest. Not only have they had that ball in the back of the net, but they've created a couple of good chances. And we reached half time. And you just about hang on. 3 shots each, one on target for you, two for Los Santos, and they had the one that was ruled out for offside. Worried, or you think you're gonna settle down in the second half and get through it? We'll just
I mean,
quickly put
you
Scott's
always
stat up on.
you always worry about a disallowed goal. If you have a disallowed goal and you're playing an home save, you're always scoring another. Araujo, like I said, little bit of a. I like Araujo. I've had him a couple of times around. Say him and Marquez. I don't know if they're both from the same club. Might be from the same club. Both nice AMCs. But sort of playing with Kesman up front. Daisy Dyer's on a. I think I'm just clinging on hoping for a bit of a red card here, just so I might win 1-0.
Well, let's have a look at the Dudley stats and see how the boys performed in the first half. Headman's on an 8, obviously done okay in goals. Maldini's on a 6. Gattuso's on a 6 as well. Sadly for him, and Frank is on a 6 as well. You've got obviously Larson and Tony on the bench as attacking options. Desai to cover for Maldini if it becomes necessary.
Certainly, Epic could just carry on, mate.
We'll carry on until 60 and just slow down a little bit as we always do. Um, Vikings and Sancti was a draw indeed. Alf was asking if we'd had any draw so far this evening. I think that was a 1-1 draw, wasn't it? With the Vikings with that equaliser. There's Carlos Jacques. He's got a few of his favourites in there, Scots, I'll say, with Shax especially. I think he had 3 goals on his debut or whatever it was, and he's not really done much since. Or maybe he has. I tend to lose track of these things and follow up on it later on. Once I start doing the weekly stats, I'll be more up to date with what's going on. Good save from Taibi. Taibi, another good keeper. There are keepers, of course, they all look kind of the same, but some are better than others, and Taibi is probably one of the better ones as well. Hetman, a bit of an unsung
Here
hero.
in there.
Ooh, and just as you mentioned, Franke has tested well and he's performed well as well. And Frank again, oh, Tavy with a big save there. That could have been 2-1, obviously.
Well, he did miss.
We'll
You're talking rubbish game. He did miss. So
oh well. Let's see. For Los Santos, it hasn't really improved. I don't think there's any super needs for substitutions here. Everyone is doing good on fitness. So we'll skip over to Dudley Hill. You'll be delighted, I'm sure, to see that assist from Roberto Carlos and that goal from Franco.
yeah, definitely. As 2 wins have come at home this season, I think if we're going to get anywhere this season, we need to keep winning at home and really just try and nicking something away. But yeah, I can't. Won't be changing anything at what. There's no need to change out. We're doing okay. Even Terry Henry's only had 1 shot as Henry, but he's got an 8, so he might be in with a chance.
Of being reselected. We'll roll till 90 then and see if you can hang on. It looks as if you've definitely had the better of the second half so far, and it's an early chance for Dudley Hill again as we restarted. Gattuso now picks up a yellow, I think it was a yellow card for Sinoni as well. Plenty of yellow cards in this one. Matthew Fuentes, the referee, not taking any nonsense from anyone. Gattuso getting involved, trying to get forward. Gattuso, of course, can play very well, get a lot of assists in that particular role, but not always the case. Maldini now picks up a yellow as well. Let's see if there's any more action in this one. Ooh, appealing for a
Oh,
penalty
easy,
right at the
easy.
death, but wasn't given. Easy clap. Dudley Hill runs out the 1-0 winners against Los Santos, who did, to be fair, run them close right at the end there. Taibi with a 9, good goalkeeping performance for them. Milevski did well as well. Everyone else kind of struggling a little bit. Arroyo obviously unlucky to have that goal ruled out for offside, but hard fought battle there for you, Steve. But 3 points on the board at the end. So as the manager, you'll be delighted with that, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, look at Frankie getting man of the match. David Collins, we're still on red with this pack, so he won't be back in next week. It'll probably be as is. I mean, Vogel's come in and just got 8s. Yeah, I'm happy, but Montero again, he's done good bits, and he's not had his psycho head on. So yeah, really happy with that. I mean,
No
3 wins
yellow
at
for
home.
Montero. I mean, that's always good, isn't it? And he gets a 9, but not man of the match, even though Frank is on an 8. Just to,
But
it
3 wins
happens.
at home, 2 losses away. It, if you win at home and can try and pick up a couple of results away, yeah, you'll end up all right. I mean, look at that. We've moved up to 4th there from that. So
Yeah, no, that should be as mentioned, that should be plenty. I said that Stackinson probably weren't moving off the bottom of the table, but they were with that point. It's Stanley who's now at the bottom. We'll have a quick look at the table. Results are obviously as you've all seen, and we'll have a quick look at the table before we finish up here. East Coast now 5.5. They're on 15 points, only conceded three. Exiles and Haggis, two north of the border teams, hot on their heels, and your good self just behind. And then we've got a bunch of teams on 7, all the way down to Sloths. Northern Burn on 4, but they do have a game in hand on several teams above them. And so does Sancte Stanley, Fulchester. It'll be a couple of weeks before we get to that catch-up round,
Yeah,
but I
but
don't think it'll.
looking at that there, Foss Road have got the equal best defence in league. They've won 2, drawn 1. They've only lost 1 all season. Yet the outside it's mad. It's mad where everything's sat at the minute. Obviously, that catch up week might change a few things.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well, it's as always is interesting in the Super League. We'll have a quick look by finishing off with looking at the next week fixtures. I guess there's no point in asking which is the pick of the bunch out of these ones. We start off with
yeah,
East Coast against Exiles. That's first versus second. That's going to be a big clash there to maybe determine. I won't say the outcome of the season, but if Exiles picks up 3 points, sorry, if East Coast picks up 3 points there, then that's them set, I guess. What do
yeah.
you make of your own game against Fulchester? You're looking forward to it, worried. Mark Viduka's got you thinking already.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. I don't feel we should be worried about it, but Dan's got a knack of getting things going. It's genuinely like a really, really like mixed bag of fixtures. So obviously the one at the top, and then next one down, anything could happen there. Foss Road out conceding. Badgers might have a couple of players back. Aggies at home, you can probably say maybe a banker if you're on your coupon. But Scotty's sat in 6. I know we scraped past him tonight. But the way that Stanley have done with that narrow, which used to be a Sandhouse, etc., you never know. Um,
And
lads,
battle at the bottom as well. Sancta against Stackington, 13th against 12. It's another
yeah, I
interesting
mean,
one.
if Ross goes similar with what he went tonight, I think he will win that game. And I do think the way the season's gone so far, that Alf's in with a chance of getting a result there as well at the end. So it's going to be a great night.
Very interesting. I'll get back to all of you with the actual date for this. There might be some slight changes with regards to the schedule for next week, but I'll let everyone know as soon as possible. As you mentioned, there a big chance for Sloths to continue their good run of form against Northern Burn. Interesting one for yourself away to Fulchester, and the big one with East Coast against Exiles. I think we made it to the end. Apologies for the technical issues. Thank you very much, Steve, for joining on CoComs. It's great
More than welcome, mate.
to have you on. Excellent. Hopefully hear you again later on in the season, and
Oh,
we'll get someone else on hopefully soon as well. I know there's a couple of you who's expressed interest, so we'll make sure we'll get that set up for all of you. So it's hitting 11:15 here, so thanks very much, guys. I'll let you get to bed or wherever it is you're going. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for joining as always, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Good night, Steve. Good night, everyone.
no, mate. No, lads.